Hi, this is Frank Turner, and you are lucky enough to be listening to Upside Down Shark Radio.
Hello everybody, and welcome to episode 27 of Upside Down Shark Radio. I am the one leg himself, Craig, and I am here again to rule over these lands.
God.
I am joined by Mr. Back in the Day himself, Tom Baker.
Hello.
And yes, we will be keeping account of how many times he says back in the day this time. Because last episode, he kept saying back in the day about MSN Messenger and MySpace. And well,
They are things from back in the day, so, you know.
The day, the only one there ever was.
Who's that? I wonder who it could be.
That's Bill.
That's Bill.
That's me.
That sounds like a name we just made up, but I can reassure you that is his real name. And I asked him to tell me something interesting about him, and he said he was born in March. So there we go.
St. David's Day, 1st of March.
The mystique broadens for Bill.
I'm a Welsh patriot.
What brings you here, Bill?
Well, I'm here to talk nerd stuff.
Okay.
It's been a long time coming. So I've known Baker for 10 years now.
Oh, God. I'm so old.
Tell us one thing you love about him.
Oh, he's just a person.
Oh, I agree with that statement. 100%.
That is not
He is the
untrue.
stretch dude to my clobber girl.
Okay, well,
good reference.
What is one bad thing about him, you would say?
Oh, bad thing about him. Oh, he just works too damn hard.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
It's true. It's true. I'll slip you the $20 later.
See why he wanted you on now, then.
Basically, Bill's the little gremlin we pull out when Paul can't come on.
Is that?
Yeah.
After he gave you such nice compliments, you just called him a
Let's
gremlin.
talk about wrestling.
Oh.
Exactly.
Skeletor gremlin, get out.
Do you have any plugs, Tom?
Hair plugs, electrical plugs, spark plugs.
Okay, great.
What ones would you want?
What was a hair plug for exactly?
It's when you want to plug in your hair and charge it up.
Okay, well,
I do that.
that's why my hair's always dead, I guess.
Well, I mean, to be honest, you can't see this if you're listening to this, but Bill has got some phenomenal hair on his head.
This is why you plug it in.
Maybe he's born with it.
Maybe it's...
If I was born with this, it would be terrifying.
You do see it sometimes when babies are born with like a full afro, and it's just the weirdest thing.
Already quoting Slayer quotes and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Well, if most babies when they're born do quote the very first vocal part of Angel of Death.
So last week I did a friend with Mr. Brownnote himself, my friend Neil, just to get back into the swing of things,
Yep.
you know. And Tom has delighted me by coming to my Macassa.
Humble abode.
Took us a while, but we got here.
Yeah, we found it.
So Tom is the only person, ladies and gentlemen, who asked for my address, didn't know where I lived, even though he's been here before at least twice, I believe.
Well, full disclosure,
Okay.
we are recording in a new build town, as it were.
New build town.
Yeah.
That's the name, New Build City. And every single street in this little precinct, as it were, looks exactly the flipping same. It is...
He's not lying.
It is a full labyrinth of suburbia.
If you go too far, it becomes the Maze Runner.
Yeah.
But
So
it becomes a copy of the film.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
a second-hand
free.
copy of Maze Runner on Blu-ray.
Is that
where
like-
you live.
Is that like
scratched
£1.50 or something? Is
I
that
hope
the going price?
so. I've never seen Maze Runner.
Me neither. Is it any good?
I don't know. Maybe.
Only the most relevant pop culture stuff here.
Yep. How long ago did that come out? More than 5 years ago? We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
It feels like it came out last year, but I know there've been 3 films.
Yeah.
every time I watch a new Simpsons episode now, they reference an old Simpsons episode. So they're doing it, so it's got to be good for them. It can be good for us, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
They brought up Flaming Moe's last time I watched a new episode, and I was like, Jesus.
You mean a flaming Homer?
That is exactly the quote, actually, I think.
Really, was it?
Yeah, it was something like that.
Nice.
Fantastic.
So Facebook, that's going down the pan, right?
Yeah, we talked about this a bit last week, but
Yes.
it's just getting worse.
So I purged my account, deleted the app, and not really going to use it anymore.
It's fair.
Yeah, got rid of all my likes except for one. You know what I'm talking about?
Is it Pornhub?
Oh, damn it.
How do they get around that? Because I presume you can like Pornhub on Facebook, but they can't post to anything, can they?
You say that. Did I tell you about how Pornhub emailed us and the way that they did it in the most clandestine way possible?
I remember this briefly.
Basically, we get certain press releases from various outlets just so we have the hottest takes. We ignore all of them and talk about 2012 on a semi-regular basis.
The disaster film.
Exactly. But we got one, and in the...
That's a good reference.
That's old.
I mean, to be fair, last week we talked about Judge Dredd and Demolition Man. So
And
They're
have you
both
seen
great
Demolition Man?
no, I still haven't seen Demolition Man. That was a trick of the editing that made it seem like I went away and watched Demolition Man. But anyway, I was checking through the emails on the account, and we'd had a spam one saying searches for Donald Trump Jr. spiked 3,000% from P-Hub. And I went on there on the email, clicked on it just to see what it was all about. And apparently all their safe for work emails, as it were, they address as P-Hub. So it doesn't put off publishers from opening it up, because that would be really weird if you just had like an email from Pornhub that you were looking up at work. So yeah, if you get an email from P-Hub, don't close it. It might be good.
I usually, when I have to send my friend an email, like, because who does that? I usually put like really cheap Viagra, all caps in the subject line, and they say they never get my emails. 'Cause
Amazing.
It just goes straight to spam. I'm like, come on, dude. What were you just saying? You didn't get
I mean,
it?
there's nothing wrong there. Like, cheap Viagra, that's the best kind of Viagra.
Is that Tom Baker approved?
Endorsed, approved, tested.
Is Pfizer, like, Pfizer's based in, or they've got a factory in this town or something.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure they're the ones that make
Just
the Viagra.
like walk in and say, you got any?
Yeah.
It can't be that hard to give me some.
Wait.
Yeah,
Nice.
so, yeah, I've...
You've got to give it to you after that, matron.
Hey.
Hey.
Upside Down Shark Radio. Yeah. So I don't use Facebook anymore.
That's fair enough.
that.
That's fair enough.
But then
I
I've got
don't think I'd miss it if it died, to be totally honest.
I've got some friends who insist on just using Messenger, Bill, and they're really irritating.
Yeah.
Even though they got a phone which can ring me, you know, they ring me for other things before they ring the phone. What's that about?
Well, sometimes if you've already got the app open and the little phone symbol's there in the top right, you just feel like, why not kill two birds with one stone?
You rang me and it didn't go off. That's why I didn't answer.
Well, maybe you need to give it some Viagra. Maybe then it'll go off.
Okay.
Wait.
Still here.
I'll give you that.
Still here.
Hey, give you that. Hey.
No.
Do you not want to say our various links? Or...
Oh, yeah, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that shizzle.
There we go.
Yeah.
Great. Are you really tired like you were last week? Or
No, I'm pretty peppy.
Yeah.
I've had my caffeine-free Pepsi Max, so
I did not buy that. Do not make fun. Okay.
it doesn't take much.
I've been an ill boy. Okay.
Yeah,
I
you've
can't
had like
really-
literally the worst start to 2018 of anyone.
Just you know when you hear that one of those people, oh, that person's off again. Oh yeah, well they got now.
Yeah.
That's turning into me. Oh, so whilst
He's going to be the world's first ligamentless man.
ligament, I've just been wow.
Isn't that a film with Bradley Cooper?
Oh, for God's sake. You are the worst, Baker. You know
Just
that, right?
Bradley Cooper flopping around the street.
It's just Quab.
Oh, my God. So, I saw Fall Out Boy at the O2.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I went to, is it Igana's? Like,
Iggy Azalea.
yeah, I went to hers for some food beforehand. Pretty good. Some, Mexican whatever. And then, obviously, because I got my one leg, I have to swap my standing tickets for the disabled one because I'm an idiot. And in the future, I'm going to see Rolo Tomasi this weekend, Andrew
stuff.
WK next weekend.
Nice.
Well, surely if you're only standing on one leg, you should get the ticket half price.
God's sake. So the O2 has we went to our gate and explained the situation. They sent us to box office. Box office sent us to someone. Someone sent us to someone else, and they just said you have to go to the customer service desk inside the arena. But no one could really understand our argument of, but if we're in the arena, we've already used up our tickets. And then you might say, we have got no room for you. You have to stand. And no one could grasp this concept. Whilst my girlfriend was wheeling me around in a wheelchair, whilst I was acting special the whole time.
You've got to embellish it just a little bit.
Yeah.
You've got to really sell the injury.
So we got in there at 5:30, then had to wait another hour before the customer service desk opened. Then they had this special like contingency plan bay where we sat, and I sat in my wheelchair watching some Fall Out Boy.
Did you get a good view at least?
It was a good view, yeah. And they had a weird stage set up where they had a runway going all down the middle. Then they had this square box at the end of the runway, and Patrick and Pete, the guitarist and the singer.
Joe is the guitarist, isn't it?
Well, no,
Patrick Stunt plays guitar.
So
Joe
does Pete,
Pete plays bass,
which is a
bass guitar.
And Pete
Okay, so
also
there we
has
go.
the best emo screams.
So, yeah, they were on this platform and it rose into the air like pretty high. And yeah, it's Fall Out Boy. There were so many young people there now.
That's surprising.
I went to I saw Gerard Way in Southampton,
Okay.
and that was weird. Because everyone around me
Chemical
was,
Romance, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
everyone around me was at least like 3, 4, 5 years younger than me.
Yeah, it's weird.
And I think, well, bearing in mind that Black Parade came out in 2006.
Yeah.
I was.
You sure?
I was in primary school. I was just about to leave primary school in that year.
Jesus.
Yeah, same.
So,
Jeez.
how
Okay.
young were these other people?
Well, with Fall Out Boy, their recent album was really poppy, and I would.
Is this Mania?
Yes.
I haven't heard. Well, I've heard the Young Menace song of it, and it took a few listens for me to really get it.
Get it? See, I've only listened to it once. 10 songs at half an hour. I was like, this isn't very good, and never listened to it again. And then I was just like, yeah.
So how early into their back catalogue did they go when they play live at the moment?
I was just about to ask, did they actually play Dead on Arrival or like medley or something like that?
I like. Can I just say, I like the way Tom said, "Is this Mania?"
No, that's this Sunday.
Hey.
I'm sure we're going to get to that. Fall Out Boy opened up with The Phoenix. So that's not even off this recent song.
Save Rock and Roll is a really good album.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
It was.
yeah. American Psycho, I didn't really get into that much until they released the remix album. So I don't know what that says about me. Sugar We're Going Down was third. So
Banger.
Good song.
every time I see them though, Pete and his screams, because obviously he can't sing,
Carpal
No.
Tunnel of Love.
and he's just like, "Yeah!" And when he's there was one song, I can't remember what it was, but let's just, School of Rock goes ooh la 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 like that.
Yeah.
Let's just say, if he was doing that, it was like ooh la 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 like that.
Oh,
And just,
bleh.
I was laughing so much at his backing vocals because you think he would have at least got a few singing lessons by now, but it really adds to the
Yeah. I mean,
experience.
he writes half the stuff, doesn't he? Writes most of it.
I don't think he's supposed to be backing vocals.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it though. It was a good thumbs up from me. There was because they did speak like the Sun, I think, reported about they got their song called Champion from their new album, and they just got like a whole video of Princess Diana montage bits.
Huh.
Yeah, and I think it's supposed to be like a tribute to her being a champion, but I think other people could look at it and say that's a bit weird.
Did they read the Telegraph or
I-
something? Have they been infected?
I haven't. Yeah, journalistic integrity. Go for the Sun, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good time. That was what I done whilst being disabled.
Oh, that's good to hear that you keep him busy.
So, I'm going to be going to a show pretty soon. I'm going to be seeing Bill Bailey.
Are you going? Which one are you going to?
A Southampton show. That's going to be at the
Oh, okay.
Mayflower 22nd.
I am going to the Brighton one.
Nice.
Ah,
Yeah.
South Coast boys.
We shall
Yeah.
get together and say, did he do this? Yep. Did he do that? Yep.
No, which date's the first? Sorry,
What?
which date comes first?
I don't know actually. I got it in my calendar.
Because then I could just one of us could just text all the jokes.
Yeah, that's just
Just
record it.
ruin the whole
yeah.
thing.
20th.
I've got to
And
swear off my phone for a couple of days.
I'm going to see Rolo Tomasi in 2 days as we're recording this, and
Maybe you can finally get an interview with them.
I've had a photo with her before.
I know, but
they're really approachable. But
except they don't reply to their private messages.
That's their manager. Oh well, if some like the way I was seeing it, because obviously I just messaged them over Messenger.
Yeah.
Like, and then like, hey, we do this podcast. Do you want to be on an interview? If I was them, like, would you reply?
Frank Turner did. And you can watch that on our YouTube channel.
Professional Frank Turner.
He is a
Professional
lad.
Frank Turner.
He turns, frankly.
He turns Franks professionally.
Just like he bakes Toms.
Yeah.
Professionally. He's a
Yeah.
professional Tom baker. That joke's never going to get...
That's all right.
You
Oh,
freaking
God.
love that joke.
It's never going to get old in my eyes. Yeah, and then I'm seeing Andrew WK. So I'm going to party hard in the disabled area. Yeah.
I'm going to flail my arms.
I just had a thought. Maybe if you need to see Beck, because maybe you can get up on stage and sing Broken Robot with him.
I was going to say loser, but okay. Yeah, we can go for that.
Yeah, because that's what Bender does when he's disabled.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a deep cut.
And then I'm just going to get up and run around
Yeah.
mid-song.
Yeah.
That is not going to happen. And then I'm seeing Ready Player One. Has anyone else seen that yet?
I have seen it.
Okay.
I am very curious I haven't seen it, but I'm curious what you think.
And I am bi-curious as to what you think.
Okay, good. That's what I want to hear.
Doubly curious.
Well,
Thank you for the confirmation.
This is like twice the curious.
that's what bi-curious means, doesn't it? It just means you're curious twice.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Or there is the buying. I'm curious to buy it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And bi-curious is when you're curious about buying something twice.
I thought that was and then there's bi curious, which means you're gone off NSYNC songs. So you know.
That is our kind of reference.
Yeah, that is 20-year-old references. Oh my God, well done.
Just had a flash of Justin Timberlake with the frosted tips, you know. Oh God.
Just the tip.
That's got to be like A tier Justin Timberlake.
Anyway, Ready
Not that
Player
we're
One.
getting,
Ready Player One. So,
How would you rank the other Justin
well,
Timberlake?
Do you miss me when I'm not with Stuart Paul?
to tell you the truth, we work better as a big old unit, don't we?
We are the biggest unit.
Yeah. One might say the G unit.
The G Union.
So, Ready Player One. How's that these days?
Ready Player One. So, you know, we had a chat about it a couple of months ago.
We got a comment.
We did, and they was really slating us. I think he called us cynical
Rip.
douchebags or something. But anyway, we've both read the book, haven't we? And you enjoyed it, didn't you? I thought it was really good.
I finished the book in a Welsh cavern. Tavern?
I thought you were going to say in a Welsh accent.
Ready Player One.
Read
The
that aloud to
end.
yourself. Some nutter in the corner, he won't leave. He keeps
just
buying
reading to
things.
Yes, Ready Player One. So the book's really good. I was really skeptical about the film until the initial reviews came in, and everyone said it was really good. And then I was like, okay, I need to see this. So I saw it pretty much the day it came out or the day after.
Wow.
And it is better than the book. It's
Better?
yes. It's the closest thing I can compare it to is Jurassic Park, the book, and Jurassic Park, the film, because they're you get point A and point B, so the beginning and the end are the same, but how you get there is quite different. And it's the same with the film and the book for Ready Player One. In the a lot of the details, so fans of the book will know that there's challenges that he needs to do in order to get this big Easter egg in the online virtual game. Pretty much every challenge he has to do in the film is different to the book, but it's done in a way that they serve the medium of film more than being in a book. They're more action packed than say just a guy playing adventure on an Atari 2600 until he gets a top score or something. So in that regard, it is a fantastic adaptation. I'm glad they didn't get any super A-list actors in the lead roles, because that lends itself to
Is Simon
the
Pegg
emotion.
in it?
He is literally in it for probably a sum total about 15 minutes for the whole
Okay.
film though.
He seems to be snuck into half of the films that are released nowadays.
Yeah, he's in Star Wars, even though he's not credited as well.
He seems like an alright chap.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see why.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing about him in Ready Player One is that I've never heard him put on an American accent in a film before.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
It's
What's the name of
jarring.
the only white guy in Black Panther?
Oh, Martin Freeman.
Yeah, he seems. I can in the Marvel films.
Gollum's in that as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Andy
That
Serkis.
doesn't. Yeah. Well,
He's so definitely.
He's a chameleon.
he never made me laugh.
I don't get it.
Comedian.
Oh, comedian.
God.
You are the literal
that
worst.
took me a while as well.
Well, it sounds like it's a good film.
It is.
And
It is.
Obviously, they can't go. Well, Harry Potter did 1-to-1, didn't they? Really, from the book to the film.
Pretty much. As I said, the kind of the general plot of the book is in the film. It's just the details and the finish, as it were, is different in the film. And to be honest, reading the book initially, I thought this is going to be a better film than it is a book, just because it is all spectacle. There's not the character. Well, there's the book's strength isn't its character work or anything revolutionary. It's that it is an exciting adventure story, and so that is essentially the perfect recipe for a popcorn film. And so I recommend getting the biggest popcorn and seeing it in cinema, because that's the best way to see Ready Player One.
I was worried it would be a bit sort of like hello fellow kids, and a bit too reference.
I tell you, there's one bit right at the start that makes you think, okay, what am I letting myself in for? When they'd like this isn't non-spoiler, but when they're first like explaining what the Oasis, the virtual game, is, one of the worlds that it shows as he's like zipping through the universe is Minecraft World, and the logo is a massive thing saying Minecraft World, and I was like, oh no, God, is this just going to be product placement central? But luckily that was as bad as it got. It was just like a little 10-second thing.
Because there are worlds in this Oasis game, so that makes sense, really.
It does make sense, but it was a little bit almost
On the nose.
a bit too much on the nose. But after that, it's fine. The references all worked really well for me. None of them felt too pandery or salesy or anything. Everything seemed natural and fitted in with it. The animation throughout is startlingly good. Obviously, the characters are meant to look a little bit video gamey and a bit cartoony, but some of the sets and the worlds in there, I can't say much without spoiling it, but my God, we've come a long way. Like, when you think about 10 years ago, we were dealing with the Scorpion King rock.
Hey, what are you saying? Do you know I can make your reference like really bad? Just we've come a long way from computer animation. What about Superman's mustache? Right, that's all I'm saying, right?
Yeah, well, be that as it may.
To be fair, like 3D animation in a film like that isn't going to look too jarring, because you know it's based in a video game.
Well, that's the thing.
So you got that context. It's a bit like when you have, I don't know, like when you overdo 3D animation in anime, sometimes it can be pretty jarring because it looks a bit too different to the style you're used to.
But then Dragon Ball Z Fighters comes out, and that's 3D, but makes it look like anime, and you're just like, that's alright, yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
it's
that's
good.
a good looking
That's
game.
a very pretty game.
Yeah. And then the two things, like, I'm really sad because I keep seeing Iron Giant, and I want another Iron Giant film, because that's like in the promotional material for Ready Player One.
You want Vin Diesel to be your bigger brother figure.
What?
That film's like one of my first tearjerkers. It's
There's a
sad
joke there.
film.
Yeah, jerk.
Yeah. You had to get the tissues ready for that film.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah. Hey.
hey now.
You're a rock star.
Have you seen that? We're not doing Shrek.
We are now.
Is it Kiss Me First? Have you heard about this?
No.
It's a Channel 4 program, and it's a drama sort of thing where people wear headsets. It does look a bit like Ready Player One, where these people go into virtual worlds, and I was just wondering if anyone's seen it yet.
No.
No? Put it on your list.
This
Alright.
kind of thing where people go into video games has been done quite a lot. So
Yeah, it has.
Well, speaking
this
of
one sounds
years and
quite
years.
unique in a way.
Speaking of VR, we've just got the new Vive headset came out as well, the Vive Pro. Which,
Did we?
Yeah, it's meant to be
I
like...
don't remember seeing it in our office.
What?
When did we get this?
Oh, I meant us as a society.
Bill, do you want a drink? You put your drink in.
It's quite far
quite
away.
far away from you. Yes.
Would you like me to pass you your drink?
That'd be nice.
Okay.
Oh, table
So-
service.
So
Exactly.
why my view on this is it called the Pro?
Yeah, it's the Vive Pro, I believe.
Okay, why would you buy this? Why would you not wait
If
for
you
the?
recently remortgaged your house.
Okay.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It is prohibitively expensive.
I don't know what that word means, so it must be bad.
I think it's about $800 without any of the peripherals, so the controllers or anything. So I think on top of whatever gaming rig you have, I think it's about $1,100 on top.
It's touching like £1,000.
Oh yeah.
So this is like one of those like specialists, like people who buy elite controllers and stuff like that.
Well, that's the thing, because a lot of what is on the headset is almost future-proofing yourself for whatever comes next, because it's got two outward-facing cameras on the headset itself, but there is no apps or games that they actually work for yet. And eventually they're going to be sort of for augmented reality stuff, but no one's actually developed anything to use these lenses yet. So
And they would be the only headset with them as well. So
at the moment, yeah. I mean, it's weird. It's sort of like when you have like the Xbox One or Xbox One X or PS4 and PS4 Pro. It's that little stopgap just before we get to the next generation of VR, which, it's one of those ones that if you have all the money in the world, get that. If not...
I mean, right now we're still kind of in the early adopters tax period of,
Oh, yeah, definitely.
of VR.
Yeah, I think the best... not just because I am now a proud owner of one, but the best compromise at the moment is the PSVR, because it is within the realms of affordability if you already have a PS4.
just had a price drop too.
Oh, crap.
What? Did you not know that?
How much has it dropped by?
I know in the US it went from 300 to 200. So.
Oh, okay.
like that.
I got it in a sale where it was probably about that. So.
Apparently, PSVR is the most comfortable one as well. So.
Oh, really? I see. I've never tried any other VR, so I haven't got anything to really compare it to. But I am still really impressed with PSVR.
Apparently Resident Evil 7 is like the VR experience.
It's so scary.
It is pants-wettingly scary.
I think I've spoken about this before as well, but you can buy a candle and you light it, and
Yeah.
you get the smell of the house it takes place
That's
in.
That's
disgusting.
not going to be a good smell.
No, it's
Ugh.
not.
Rotting Louisiana bayou.
All your senses.
Also, I was watching a speed run of that. Little factoid. The little factoids the bloke was sprinkling throughout the speed run. Apparently, you don't get basements in that state.
Oh,
The ground is too wet.
I consider me unimmersed.
I don't think Joseph Fritzl's house was supposed to have a basement either.
Oh, God. Ugh.
Too bad.
I mean,
soon?
I'll give it a pass
Are we
because it
gonna-
is a very dated
Are we going
reference.
to bleep that or something?
Dated references. That's what we do.
Yeah, you know what? We'll go with it. We'll go with it.
All right. Tom told me that joke.
But speaking of video game news, have you
Speaking
seen today, the day of recording, they have accidentally leaked some details about the Spyro remastered trilogy.
I am
that's the
very
lead-
interested in
that's the
this.
story we're going with.
Yes.
Okay, right. Just
What, are you not
Spyro
excited about
is
Spyro?
Good.
okay. No. Go with Spyro. Talk about Spyro for a bit.
Okay, so former Skylander Spyro used to be a game on the PlayStation 1.
Turbochargers was the most recent Skylanders game, I believe.
I don't care in the slightest.
You 10-year-old boy.
To be honest, we had one of our friends of the show, Jim Kemp, who of the band Deary Me, has a Spyro tattoo, which we often refer to as his Skylander tattoo. Too much
He must
chagrin.
Can you put his arm on the portal and like it will come to life? Imagine that. Wouldn't that be cool?
It's probably possible.
So it's weird because Crash Bandicoot, he had some crap games and then they threw it in the vault for a while. But Spyro has been active for the last few years in that Skylanders capacity, hasn't he?
Yeah, but it is appealing to a completely different audience now. Like Skylanders is almost exclusively for kids, whereas the original fans of the original games are all either in their 20s or 30s now. So it is trying to get back that core demographic from before, and it looks really good. There's only a couple of screenshots, the box art. The big news that seems to have leaked, because this has been through Amazon listings in...
India.
Have you already seen this as well?
Is it France too, I believe?
Somewhere else in the world. I don't know where.
I saw it and was like, I've heard this rumor for ages, so it's probably going to happen this year.
Yeah, well, it looks like it's going to come out on Xbox as well, which
Yeah.
is quite surprising because back in the day,
He said it. Did you hear that? He said it, Bill.
Take
He
a
said it.
shot.
Back in the day, like Grandad.
Back in the day, it was always PS1 and PS2 exclusive.
Yeah, because Crash is coming out on Xbox and Switch this year too.
Is it Xbox as well? I knew it was Switch.
I believe Switch have, yeah. I think when it comes out on Switch, it'll come out at the same time.
Just
Interesting.
seen an advert on a website for Flappy Bird.
Okay.
Is it back?
It's back
What is-
and it's
hang on,
64-bit, so it'll work on
I
your
swear
current phone.
it said at the bottom in small text $4.99 a month.
Oh,
Excuse me.
surely not.
Subscription for Flappy Bird.
I'd pay for
Flappy
it.
Bird.
Speaking of video games that start with S, is that a good segue?
Not.
What were
in
you
the
gonna say?
Slightest.
Spider-Man has a has
yeah.
a date now.
That trailer,
That looks good.
it looks real good.
Does it get you like hot
I
behind the
think
collar?
the closest thing to a decent Spider-Man game recently has got to been like Attack on Titan,
What?
which almost controls exactly like
September
September
7th, the new Spider-Man game is coming out for PS4. So I have played. One of my memories is when I went to France. Me and my friend bought some video games, and obviously they were. Well, he bought Spider-Man. I bought Time Crisis. Time Crisis worked flawlessly.
Flawlessly.
They floored me.
And his Spider-Man game, the first Spider-Man game for PS1, was all in French, and he couldn't play it. So
Less Spider-Man.
I remember I really liked Spider-Man, the movie game for PS2.
I heard Spider-Man 2 is like meant to be the best one.
So I played that as well. It's GTA with Spider-Man.
Nice.
It was not my sort of thing. Most recently, I heard the Spider-Man. What is it? A Web Between Worlds or something like that.
There was Shattered Dimensions, which
That's
is pretty good.
Yeah. There's 4 different Spider-Men you can play as,
Yeah.
and one of them's like Batman style Arkham, isn't it?
Yeah, Batman Noir, Spider-Man Noir, I think it was.
Oh,
wasn't it?
that was the one. Yeah.
Yeah, and he had like the goggles.
What
and-
was the PS1 one? The one you had to fight like Dr. Rock and Carnage and
Yeah, and the sequel one was Enter Electro, and Electro was the big villain, but he was Australian, as far as I'm aware.
Crikey, Spider-Man! I slipped on some electrical tubes.
you went.
Yeah, I was going to say you went super Cockney there.
That's more Penguin, isn't it? So this Spider-Man does look good. It looks fluid, graphically.
I remember watching
Beautiful.
the E3 thing had a few too many QuickTime events and
I hope that.
some of the scenes.
I hope if you're just swinging around, it's not going to be that bad.
I'm hoping we get the web slinging right, and that's like 90% of the game.
Yeah.
Surely, if you just add
There's
some quests in.
some light Batman combat, you know. And
Yeah.
Because I've been playing Far Cry 5.
Oh, how is it?
Fallout Boy.
Fallout Far Cry Boy.
So I got the gold edition because I was able to pick it up for cheap, and I'm just like, now I can't trade this game in because I got obviously the season pass, so it's going to have Far Cry 3 on it soon. And Far Cry 5 is a game where you should just play with a friend and you skip every cutscene, and that is what I've been doing. The story is...
I've heard it's pretty...
it's hard going. Like, it's not even that interesting.
Yeah.
Like, there's a way to make Christian cults interesting, and this is just like, I feel like I'm skipping through everything.
I mean, I've always been more of an edgehead myself, so...
I
Don't.
get it.
Don't.
I get it.
If he wants to laugh at my inane jokes, let him laugh at my inane jokes.
Okay.
Track of the week.
That is not... we don't have a jingle, but... okay.
We will force a jingle in there somewhere.
Tune of the week.
Tuner of the week.
Song of the week.
All of those things comes from...
Batman theme.
I tell you, you're not far away. Comes from Screech Bats,
Okay.
who have just released their sophomore EP, Wish You Were Here. It was out last, whatever the 30th of March was. I can't remember what day that was.
Bill, you were born in March. What day was the 30th of March?
You know March. He's a lovely guy.
Well, let's skip over that and say we'll march on and play the first single off that EP, which is Get Better. So without further ado, here is Screech Bats with Get Better. Check it out.
Dream, a ghost crossing deep me mumbling something about how I couldn't get what I needed. Where once was a fire was a sky that had darkened with ash. Where once was a door was all boarded and painted in black. Where once was a person worth loving was nothing and they were coming back. But oh, you met me in a nightmare like a vision dressed in white. You said the needle stings, but it really felt alright. Like an angel stood before me, I said things I shouldn't say. Now teach someone else to live again like you did for me those days. Since you've been gone, I've been down so low. Are you better than this? Since you've been gone, I don't know who I am. I'll be better. It's hard to wake up from a dream. We're a grain of sand lost in a galaxy, but I won't drown in till I can say I can hold my drink. And I'll stop searching for answers out of all the people who fake them. I might not be good, but I think I can see an end. I might not be perfect, but I could still be a friend. I might not be special, but I am worth something and I don't need to pretend. I followed you through hallways, moving somber as a hearse. But I found just what I needed, my pills, my mind, my nurse. Like an angel with a clipboard, taking notes on what I'd say. You'll teach someone else to live again like you did for me those days. Since you've been gone, I've been down so low. Are you better than this? Since you've been gone, I don't know who I am. I'll be better.
I like that.
Yeah, that was Screech Bats with Get Better. Make sure to buy their new EP and check them out at screechbats.com or on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Spotify.
So, Bill,
Hello.
I hope that is your real name. I hope it's
My
one of those.
birth name's William. I've been
Okay.
lying this entire time.
Can I call you William?
It would be a bit weird.
Yeah.
Why is
You
that?
could, in
It'd
theory.
be a bit weird if you called me by my name that my parents chose for me when I was born.
No
but-
one calls me William, but you can go for it.
Okay. William,
Hey.
what have you been? What have you been up to?
Well, I've been playing a bunch of games. I've
Okay.
recently got back into Final Fantasy 14, which
Okay.
is the MMO in the Final Fantasy, or made by the Final Fantasy people.
That could be anyone at this point, though, couldn't it?
It's Square Enix. I'll just say it's Square Enix.
Okay.
Square Enos.
Square Enix. Yeah,
There's nothing between us.
Inside jokes are the best jokes.
Don't say that to your girlfriend.
Alrighty.
So you've been wasting your time on some MMO. What else have you been doing?
it's pretty good. I've also been playing Steins Gate,
I've heard of that.
which is a visual novel. One I think I'd recommend to people who don't usually have a go at visual novels.
Have you been playing it then, really?
Right.
See, the
Hey
thing
now.
is right.
It's a very high art form. You don't actually play it plays you.
Highbrow
Kind of,
visual entertainment.
But yeah, it's a really interesting story about time travel, and it's got
Ooh,
great
I like
characters, and it sort of has choices, but not in like The Witcher or
More of the-
Telltale kind of way.
Well,
I
the
guess
Telltale choices don't really
sort
amount
of
to
more of the
nothing.
Telltale choices. Yeah, in a way. Well, it does change the ending depending on basically you reply to emails, and depending on
I do
which
that a lot.
replies you give to the emails,
Emails.
changes
This
which
doesn't sound
endings
like
you
a-
get.
This doesn't sound like a fun video game.
It's
Answering emails.
It's a very small part of the actual thing.
I was going to say the one thing I look for in a riveting gaming experience is answering emails and admin. Oh God, I've got to edit now. Curses. Shit.
You have given me.
Get me riled up.
I might as well do more swearing now.
Tom, I have a new idea
Go
for a YouTube channel. It's just called William Explains Things. After hearing him explain Steins Gate.
But is the first episode him explaining that he's actually Bill, not William?
It really annoys me.
It genuinely is a really good story, though.
I thought you were going to say it genuinely is a really good name.
That's a good name.
Yeah, both.
What are you playing it on? Because I'm
It's on PC.
Okay.
I think you can get it on like Vita as well if you're one of the 10 people who owns a Vita.
Do you own a Vita? I bet you own a Vita.
Of course I own a Vita.
You own everything, man.
I want, obviously now with my bum leg, I want to start buying older consoles as well.
Good shout.
Yeah. I want to get GameCube and Crazy Taxi, and then I don't need anything
Crazy
else.
Taxi was on Games of the Gold, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Great reference. Another offspring dated reference to the bank.
Have you been doing anything else, William?
More or less nothing. I've been watching a bunch of old wrestling stuff, but I suppose
you got the
can get to that
network,
a bit
have you?
later. I do.
Okay.
I've been becoming an Edge mark after he's retired, so
Like most of every other wrestling fan.
yeah.
What is it? They did the live sex celebration. Apparently, they were actually planning to do that, but because of the crowd and stuff, Edge couldn't get it up, so they just had to, pantomime the moves. So
Well, they were literally going to have full intercourse.
They were going to do it, yeah.
Because,
Obviously.
Lita's boob fell out at one point.
Yeah, that's why. Because they were actually
The
planning to do
attitude
it.
era was weird.
You can leave your bra on and still have sex.
Can you?
Apparently.
How'd you see them titties, though? I've never taken off my bra, Thomas.
Are you gonna edit the word titties?
No.
Big old titties!
We're gonna leave
But
the word titties in so I can keep.
I
saying
am
it.
going to quickly wrap this up and so we have time to record our next episode, which will be a WrestleMania preview show.
Wait.
So
Wouldn't this be the one before?
yes, but continuity has never been our strong suit, young Craig.
So if you're listening to the end of this, go back to our last episode and listen to the wrestling episode
Precisely.
that we're just about to record.
Did we get any of the
Deepest
predictions
lore.
right? Who knows? You'll know because WrestleMania will be in the books and will have happened.
Can't believe Dana White came out and hit Roman Reigns with a chair and then flew him off
She's
to
the
UFC.
Universal Champion.
Can I just say, since I've been off, I've watched now over 100 episodes of Dragon Ball Z Kai. And it's pretty good.
I've heard very good things about it.
It's good. I like Dragon Ball Z.
I have been Tom.
I have been William's friend, Craig.
I've been Will.
Sucking the will out of you as we record.
I've been Willy Wheeland.
Wee Willy Wheeland.
Wee Willy Wheeland.
And this has been Upside Down Shark Radio, episode 27. Thank you very much.